I'd like to call this meeting back to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Gownick,
Yes.
Mr. Givens,
Here.
Ms. Gilch,
Here.
Ms. Gore,
Here.
Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Marks.
Here. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Bilodeau and Mr. Tro for Star students.
Thank you, Mr. Marks, members of the board. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Charles W. Lewis School. Thank you, Mr. Lessman, for packing the house with your students and their parents tonight. I would like to turn this program over to Mr. Tro. Mr. Tro, would you want to come up here and this obviously is Jay's, he's no doubt. Thanks, Tim.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. This is our kind of enjoyable time that we have each month as we get an opportunity to recognize all the great things that are going on in our schools. And so the board goes on their little tour from to each of the 3 middle schools, and we're able to honor students from 2 schools each month. And so tonight, as most of you understand, we're recognizing students from Gloucester Township Elementary School and C.W. Lewis Middle School. I am going to turn the microphone over to the principals, first from GT and then from Lewis, and they will introduce their staff members who are here as well as their students. We do have certificates that the board and Mr. Bilodeau have signed recognizing each of the students being recognized here tonight. I will turn those over to the school, to them as well. When the event's over, I might get on if I get an opportunity to, and remind you of what we'll do. We'll take a short recess after. Parents, if you could just hold on and let your students participate in photos that we will be taking probably right over there in the corner. We want to make sure that we get an opportunity to get their photo. We'll put that on the district website. You can go back and visit and point any family members maybe who weren't able to get here tonight and friends over to that as well. So Mr. Lessman, if you'll take the microphone and introduce your group.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, board, for having us here. We always appreciate the opportunity to come and present our school. We may be the smallest or second smallest school in the district, but we know how to pack a house. So at this time, I am very pleased to share with you all our safety patrol and their 2 wonderful advisors, Mrs. Walto and Mrs. Green, and they're going to share a little bit with you about what we do with our safeties at Gloucester Township Elementary School.
Thank you. Our safety patrol is a wonderful group of students who really show responsibility in all areas. Mrs. Green and I have been running this program for many, many years, and this is truly an exceptional group. We just have a little video. We're going to go over a couple different things that our students do and how they become a safety at Gloucester Township Elementary School. The first thing, their 4th grade year is pretty much their audition, okay? From September to June, they are on point. They are showing leadership, they are demonstrating responsibility, they are caring, they are helpful. This is an example of our safety patrol application they have to fill out at the end of the year if they are interested in becoming a safety patrol member. They do need to get recommendations from all 6 special area teachers, as well as myself, Mrs. Green, and the lunchroom staff. They also do have some questions and some open-ended questions on their applications. And this year we were very happy. We have Nate McNeil and Kira Hodson as our platoon leaders. So, nice job. Ready? Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of our fundraising events that we have is called the Move and Groove-a-thon. And the parents can donate money for the safety patrol. And we have Mr. Dempsey, our phys ed teacher, runs an activity where the students walk, they lap the school, and they do dances every so often. And that's our Move and Groove-a-thon. So you can actually see the kids all outside participating. So last year was our first year trying to incorporate some community service activities. So because in fourth grade, and we are the fourth grade teachers, the students read Love That Dog in ELA. And it is about a dog coming from a shelter. And being that we have a shelter right around the corner, we did a furry friend treat collection. So each classroom had a bin and they donated treats and toys. And then the captains, Mrs. Walto, Mr. Lessman and myself went and we delivered them to the shelter. It was fabulous, a fabulous turnout. You could see all the kids with all of the collection that they came up with.
And finally, at the end of the school year, the safeties are rewarded by going on a bowling trip that is paid for by the Move and Groove donations from the parents and the students at the school. This year, we will also be going bowling, most likely in the spring before the holiday break. And all of the students are invited to a fun morning of bowling and pizza before we leave for the spring break. Oh, there's our there's our captains, Kira Hudson and Nate McNeil, who are doing a great, they're doing a great job this year in leading our patrol. They do make sure that the other students and safety patrol members, they each have a job. We have bus safeties, we have teacher helper safeties, we have office safeties. They kind of go around at the end of the day, making sure that each student has their bell and they're doing their job.
And the next two slides are our current patrol in action. So you can see we have our office safeties, we have our classroom safeties. And then we have our bus room safeties. And then the safeties we couldn't capture because they were already on a bus. So they're in the hallway. And one final slide, we have decided to incorporate a little bit more community involvement. And we are taking inspiration from the Wit and Wisdom ELA curriculum. Third grade is all about the C module 1. So we're going to be doing something that has to do with giving back to clean beaches and keeping our water clean. We have the Homeward Bound. We're going to do the Love That Dog collection again. And then something from the 5th grade curriculum, which we're going to do some sort of fundraising for Native American children. So those are the ideas that we have this year.
And there's our patrol.
Thank you, Mrs. Green and Mrs. Walto, and another round of applause for our safeties. Thank you, guys. We really do have an exceptional group, and over the last few years, we've really tightened up those qualifications to become a safety. So it is definitely something that the students feel honored and special to be a part of. It is not just a rite of passage to get in 5th grade. So very excited for the hard work they do. Thank you very much, safeties, and we'll have a great rest of our year, right? All right. And now I'm going to turn it over to the principal of Charles W. Lewis, Mr. Ted Otten.
Thank you, Mr. Lessman. Welcome, everybody, to Charles Lewis Middle School. Welcome our future Lewis Indians over there from Gloucester Township Elementary. It is my pleasure to introduce our NJHS advisors. So I'm going to ask Ms. Shiloh and Ms. Potter to come up and talk about our wonderful star students.
Right. If my officers can come up, right? You guys can stand right there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chelsea Shiloh. I am one of our NJHS co-advisors and
Christine Potter, the other co-advisor.
Good evening, Board of Ed community members and parents. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to introduce myself again because I'm nervous. My name is Chelsea Shiloh, and I'm an 8th grade ELA teacher from Charles Lewis Middle School, as well as the school's NJHS co-advisor. I am honored to be here tonight as we celebrate our NJHS officers as this year's Lewis Star students. The Star Student Award is given to Lewis students that we feel exemplify our goals of helping build caring, empathetic, academically sound, and well-balanced students and community members. I can confidently say this group of students exemplifies all of those attributes and more so. As NJHS officers, they have demonstrated an above and beyond dedication to academics, good character, and contribution to the CWL community, from creating budgets and running school fundraisers, start to finish, to coordinating a Hurricane Helene and Milton service project, which is in the works, to planning to beautify the bathrooms. These students demonstrate a willingness and desire to improve whichever environment is lucky enough to be graced with their presence. For this and many other reasons, join me in celebrating our Lewis Star students. We have our president, Ezekiel Nepomuceno. Our vice president, Mackenzie McKinley. Our treasurer, who gave up so much time during our fundraiser and was there every single day collecting money for all of us, Zakari Ellis. Our secretary, Elaine Wen. Our fabulous historians, Allison Graham and Allison Graham first. And Sidradel Montaha. Okay, and finally, our awesome parliamentarian, Amelia Champion. Okay, and one more round of applause for our awesome officers who have worked so hard this year. All right, good. Take a bow, you're fabulous. All right, thank you so much for taking out the time to celebrate our students and have a great night. Thank you.
So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to take a short recess. At that time, we will have the students join us over here for a photo. There are refreshments in the back for anyone who would like to partake in those. And then after about 5 to 10 minutes, we'll reconvene the meeting. You're welcome to stay if you want, but if you've got other things that you need to take care of, we certainly understand that as well. And so you'll want to take your time to, if you're not going to stay for the meeting, to exit at least minimally into the hallway, and then the regular board meeting will resume. So thanks again for coming out. Congratulations, students and staff who are participating with us tonight. We appreciate the great work you're doing, and have a great evening.
Meeting back to order. May I have a motion and a second for executive session, October 28, 2024?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Givens,
Yes.
Ms. Skilch,
Yes.
Ms. Score,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes. May I have a motion and a second for regular board minutes, October 28, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Mr. Marks, we're going to amend those minutes.
Sir.
I wrote down that Suzanne voted no on the entire option of 6. And she was only voting no on the minutes that she was not here.
Okay.
So she actually is voting yes on number 6,
And abstaining on the,
She's abstaining.
abstaining on the minutes.
oh, you're right, abstaining on the ones she wasn't here for.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second as amended, please?
So moved as amended. Second as amended.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Givens,
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Gilch,
Yes, as amended.
Ms. Score,
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes, as amended.
Mr. Marks.
Yes, as amended. We'll move on to public comments for agenda action items only, please. I see none.
Got one.
Oh, yes.
I think it goes under 7.3 bill payment are my questions, because they have to do with payments that we've made by check. Would it go under that? Okay, great. Check number 135257. It's for GSRP Project Holding LLC, which is Goldman Sachs Renewable Power LLC. That particular check is for $29,521.36. And what specifically is that for?
That's the solar panels.
What are we paying for? The rental of using them, or? I was here many years ago. I think it was 2013 when they agreed to do solar panels, and I'm just wondering, what are we paying for specifically?
That's the cost of the solar panels. They bill us annually. It's like about $100,000 a year.
Okay, well, the previous month, they also got paid $55,616.70. So about $100,000 a year. And how long does that go on, forever?
It's 15 years, maybe.
Okay, great. Thank you. My next question would be, let me see the check number here. I didn't write the check number down, I guess. Anyway, it's for Peterson Havac. And it comes to a total of $61,661, and it's on the agenda for tonight, but it shows that you paid in July 12th, $33,213 to repair the cooling tower in the Mullen School. And I guess that didn't work out because less than a month later, in the beginning of August, you paid $28,448 to Peterson for repairing the cooling tower in the Mullen School. So that's like $61,000. And then in the months that followed, you paid $12,650 to rent a cooling system from Peterson, $15,798 to rent it the next month. And on this month's bill again is $12,650. So you're up to about $89,000 to Peterson. And I'm wondering, is the cooling system fixed yet?
That cooling system is getting replaced next summer. That's part of the $18 million project.
Okay. Then in that case, will the electric bills continue to be as they are now for the Mullen School? Because after the last 4 months, including this month, which is $23,634, we're up to $85,000 just to the electric company. Add that to what you paid Peterson, who I guess was working on it but couldn't fix it. That's a great deal of money. So will that continue all this year?
Well, I don't know about the electric bills. Electric bills went up over a year ago, so they're actually supposed to go up even higher in the springtime. We just got notified November 7th.
Okay, I understand that, but I did look at last year's bills, and the Mullen School ranged around $7,800 a month, $7,600, $8,000. Now we're at $24,000. That's, I know all things go up, but that's like a tremendous increase.
Yeah, we're seeing the increases.
Of that group.
Yeah, and they're going up higher.
And is there no explanation for that?
Talk to the legislature because they're the ones that are having hearings on it.
Oh, they're having a hearing on it?
Yeah.
Well, then my other question would be.
Mr. Pretz, can I see if anybody else wants to speak for?
Sure.
Don't go far.
Any others?
Can anyone speak now?
This is for just agenda action items only, Mr.
Yeah,
Ms.
Mr.
Fretz,
Pretz.
come on back up.
Told you not go far.
Only one last quick
Yeah.
question. And it has to do with the first thing I asked about, which was the Goldman Sachs renewable power. Aren't the solar panels supposed to be offsetting electric costs? I mean, in your home, the panels make my electric bill, or people who have solar panels, less than they had been the previous year, because you're paying that solar company some money, but it's not equaling what the bill would have been that you just told us is constantly rising. So why don't we see any kind of offset there? Because obviously, if we're paying them $100,000 a year, what are we saving?
When that solar panels were installed, they did a savings initiative based on what the cost was. I don't have that with me right now, but I could dig that up. I don't know exactly what that savings is.
And my last question would be, do we know if all our solar panels are actually working? Are there any that are damaged, that are not actually producing anything to help us with the cost? And I ask that because I experienced that this summer where 3 panels weren't working and the electric bill was extremely high. And the company who we pay the solar panels to didn't tell us that they weren't working, but they did come out and replace them. So do all our solar panels work?
Yeah, they come out every 6 months to look at them.
So you think that they're all working now? Could you say that?
I didn't know they weren't working. They come out every 6 months to look at them, so I-
We have no indication that none of them aren't working, correct?
They never indicated that none aren't working. Hmm. Well, we would certainly hope that that offset something, but we don't seem to know what. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? We'll move on to Porter Solicitor, Mr. Long.
My items were discussed in executive session this evening, Mr. Marks.
Thank you, sir. Move on to 6.0, report of the superintendent, Ms. Wildo.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. Good evening again, everybody. Under 6.1A, there is a discussion item. Grant Hilbrand, who is our supervisor of student support services, is here to make a brief presentation regarding the 23-24, which was last school year's Annie Bill rights self-assessment that our staff has produced. So, Mr. Hilbrand, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, so each year by law, each school has to submit a self-assessment report regarding our implementation of the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. In your agenda, you'll see our total overall scores for each of our schools. On our website, under Student Support Services, there's a link, and it has all of our full reports listed on there. Between now and December 9th, when the next board agenda is due, there will be some time where edits and adjustments can be made. So if there is anything that is inaccurate, I'll be working with the schools, but this is an open forum for during this time for anybody to make any suggestions or ask any questions to get the accuracy of these down. I put my email on there, so if anybody does have any suggestions or they do want to have a discussion about it, they can reach out to me, and I'll work with the anti-bullying specialist and the school climate committee to make those accurate adjustments. Just a couple things. This is the first year that I've been in this position that all of our scores were above a 70. Max score is a 78. And we have been increasing. 2 years ago, we were at a 70.7. Last year, we're at a 71.81. This is district average. And this year, we're at a 73.27 overall. So I'll be here for the end if anybody has any questions.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Hilbrand.
you.
Grant. So with the balance of my report this evening, I'd like to ask for consent resolutions for item 6.2A through 6.6 N, as in Nancy.
Oh,
There, oh,
mine has an L.
no, I have an N.
Yeah, mine has an L.
No, you get.
And.
There's a revised.
Either way.
There was a revision.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Skalnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilch.
Yes.
Ms. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes. We'll move on to the report of the business administrator.
Yes, under consent agenda, asking for board's approval of 7.0 through 7.7A.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
Any questions?
I had a question on the forklift. Was there multiple quotes on forklifts?
I think they reached out to a comparable quote that was under a state contract. I don't know if they got multiple quotes on it.
Gotcha. And then I guess the only other question that I haven't already asked you, the $44,000 in the 7.7A, wasn't it lower than 44 before, or was that the threshold?
7.7 what?
7.7A.
Bid threshold.
for the business office standing operating procedures.
Yeah, what
In
about-
there, the dollar amount for getting multiple quotes, like the 62,000 is
That,
over.
that's set every 5 years by the governor, so it's due to go up soon, actually.
Well, I thought we
Might-
had
might
it
be
lower
next year.
though than, we did
And
at some point have it lower than what the governor had.
Mr. Gibbons is referring to the fact when the district does not have a qualified purchasing agent in place, that amount does go down by that same statute. So that's what the reference is. But since we have a QPA, it goes up to the amount.
What is that amount?
It's 44 now. It
44,000.
goes up every 5 years by the governor. I think next year it'll go up again, especially based off of what inflation's been.
Okay.
Wow.
Any other questions?
Yes, regarding the forklift, is this something that is necessary? Is it something that we could do shared services with Black Horse Pike or Gloucester Township?
Oh, that forklift is used every day in that building. If you've ever been in that warehouse, yeah, it's every day. I mean, we got estimates to repair it at $5,000 to $8,000. Just wasn't worth it.
Right.
It's from the 70s, that forklift that we have in there.
Okay,
And forklifts last a very long time.
sure. Okay, thank you.
Shared service, not trying to move around, will be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
I'm voting no on check 135196 and check 135325. And I believe everything else I already cleared up with you, so yes on the balance.
as noted. Mrs. Gilch,
Yes.
Ms. Gore,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
I'm going to abstain on check number 135203. Yes on the balance.
as noted. Mr. Marks,
Yes. We're going to move on to 8.0 old business, Mr. Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. I have two items. I just wanted to update the Board of Education that as you recall, I had for the week of the New Jersey Teachers Convention asked for that one Friday off for staff. There seemed to be some confusion with people with some folks within our rank that don't believe that, as the board insisted, that all staff get that day off. By the time the approval had come, however, Mr. Umar had put in place certain specific improvements for a building that we needed all facility and maintenance staff available. So at my request, Mr. Umar met with the union and they collaborated on kind of a floater day, as it were, so the board would make do on what they wanted. And so that letter was issued on the 4th of November to all staff. I have copies here for the board if you want to see it. And they have, union has elected the 26th of December to be the day off in lieu of November 8th. So I will send that to the three board members who want
Please.
to hear, not Mr. Mark. So there's transparency
Thank you.
and clarity.
Can you email it to me too? I don't like paper. I don't want email.
You don't like paper?
No, if you could email it. to me, thank
One
you.
other thing, I just wanted to, for the good of the order, last month, a member of the public talked about goal number 4 not being met in their opinion. Goal number 4 from last year, which was a district goal, read as follows: create more opportunities to engage parents and caregivers in their students' educational process. After the meeting, went back and took a look at that and had once again sent to the Board of Education the different building-based family engagement activities, that number 293 for the 2023-24 school year. So in regards to whether goal number 4 was met or not, in my opinion, it was satisfactorily met. I do believe the member of the public was referring to something else, but I certainly don't think it was related to goal number 4 from last year. So I just wanted to make that clear to the board.
Thank you.
Oh, I have copies of the 293 items that our schools put together up here if anyone wants one.
Thank you. We're
That's
going to
all.
move on to new business, Ms. Bildo.
Not at this time.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to public comments.
Speak.
Okay, Dorothy Hope DeLeo. As of November the 6th, I was terminated by Gloucester Township Schools after 37 years of service. I did hand out some copies of the letters that I received from Mr. Bilodeau. I have plenty more at home. But the one, I started to highlight some things. Notice the termination. The basis of this correspondence is to notify you that the district will be terminating your employment effective 30
Ms.
days
Blair.
from the date of this letter.
Mrs. DeLeo, you read this to us last month as well.
I'm sorry.
You read this to us last month, and
I
it's,
did
it
read
was
it
already
here
in the record.
Because there's different people here now.
But they can watch the video from last month. If you have anything new you want to share with us, that's fine, but these are personnel records as well as letters that have already been read into the record. If you
I
got anything new.
understand, but if it's my 3 minutes and I should be able to say
We
what I
can-
want.
No, that's not true. It is, you have already made that comment. Anybody who wants to check out that video and what she said can go back and watch last month's meeting.
Okay, well, my time is ticking.
No.
Let's get to policy, Gloucester Township Board of Education Policy 4161. Now, that policy was enacted in December 2023. I came out of the hospital in November 2023. Now, why would Gloucester Township Schools enact a policy the month after I came out of the hospital? I'm a paraprofessional. You, Mr. Bilodeau, you've been superintendent well over 10 years. So why didn't the Board of Education, Mr. Bilodeau and so forth, why wasn't that policy enacted years ago? Why was it enacted a month after I came out of the hospital? Makes it quite obvious that that policy was meant for me.
Most certainly was not meant for you.
All
That
right,
is a
I would
legal
like an
requirement.
answer from Mr. Bilodeau, why he did that.
Sure, so
I
it's a
would like
Strauss.
an answer.
Actually, we have a third-party administrator called
You can
Strauss.
smile all you want, but this
Esme,
isn't fun.
Mr.
Well,
DeLeo,
I'm-
let him speak.
I'm trying to answer the question. The Board of Education has a policy committee.
You're
they-
not the Board of Education.
Yeah,
you're the
let him
superintendent.
speak. Let him speak.
One of the tasks of a Board of Education in the state of New Jersey is to set policy, period.
Could you
Only
speak-
the board,
I'm sorry, could you speak closer to the mic?
only the Board of Education sets policies. They meet as a group. They then bring those things forward that our advisor Strauss Esme. And that December date is not a new policy, but a recommendation from our third-party administrator that there have been tweaks and changes in the law. And to remain current as a public school district, they, as a board, had a first reading and then a second reading to keep their policies current.
And it just so happens that that policy was adopted December 2023, a month after I got out of the hospital. And this policy is for
Mr. Leo, your
support
3
staff
minutes is up.
members.
I would like to see if there's anybody else.
Am I allowed to speak?
Your
this
3 minutes is
policy-
up. I will bring you back up after I go through the audience. Thank you.
We'll call you back up.
Hmm?
We
I
have to
will
see if
call you
anybody
back
else,
up.
You're gonna call me back up?
when everybody else has had the chance to speak, you will, yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
How you doing? My name's Steve Bavuso. My son's a student in the district, but he's currently out of district, special needs. I believe in the past couple meetings, it was brought up about the special education parent advisory group that is non-existent within our district. It was brought to the board from my understanding from other parents. And I was just here to see, was it brought up? If it wasn't brought up, I'm bringing it up. And if it's not enacted, why it hasn't been enacted and how do we go forward to enact it?
Good evening, Mr. Buvuso. Actually, Dr. Martin spoke of that meeting. You're referring to, I think, CPAG. That is something that Dr. Martin spoke at length last month at Am Ellen School. Parent meetings did exist. She explained what was done last year for parents, including a survey. She has created a schedule of the same parent group meetings for this school year. I believe they are on the district's website. The first meeting I know will be the 10th of December. And I believe it's going to be in this room and start at 6:30. The other dates are in January and March of 2025. And I think more information would be rendered from our Department of Special Services, but I just want to give you a quick rendition of what this year's scheduled meetings is.
Is that, so the term used, is that the same as the parent group to discuss?
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Amy Ortiz from Clementon. Just want to put it on the record. I missed last month's meeting because I was unaware that you guys changed locations. As Dina Hendry previously stated, the website isn't very user-friendly. And I don't know if you remember, but I'm the mom with the twins. We have yet still to receive a tutor. This and continue to get ignored by Dr. Martin in her office. I had a similar question about the SegPay. From what I understand, these meetings that Dr. Martin put together are not the SEPAG. They are interest meetings and not necessarily the advisory council meeting, the parent advisory council. Is that correct?
According to Dr. Martin, these are the parent group meetings for the district.
That's not what FSO is saying, because according to my understanding, FSO is supposed to be at December's meeting. And they're saying that there is no parent advisory group, that this is an interest meeting, meaning that for the parents that are interested in starting this, because if you recall 2 months ago at the meeting that I attended, at that time, there was not a special education parent advisory group in service 2 months ago. Is that correct? Because when the question came up, everybody was like deer in headlights.
Actually, Dr. Martin has been having the meetings with special ed parents for years. And I don't know exactly the labels you're referencing, but she continues to have those meetings. She
Okay.
had them a year ago. There were surveys put out and she responded to what parents asked for at the meeting. So those scheduled meetings last year, from what I was told and what Dr. Martin delivered last month. So
Okay, as a
we
mother.
may be, bogged down in nomenclature and
Mhm.
titles and labels, but
Mhm.
there are avenues for parents of special needs students to come and collaborate here in Gloucester Township. And Dr. Martin's going to be part of that. The first is December 10th.
Okay, as a mother of special needs twins that have moved here just 3 years ago, my boys are 9 years old. The district does not do much service for new parents or kids coming into the school system of advising us or informing us of these things. I was very unaware and very unprepared moving into New Jersey of exactly the fight that I have to do in order for my kids to get the services they deserve and are legally entitled to. And again, 2 months ago, the group was brought up, and at that time, I was told and the public was informed that there was no such meeting. There was no such group. And the woman Fanny had come in from another district expressing interest in starting one. And from everybody that that meeting 2 months ago was aware, there is no active SEPAG on record in Gloucester Township as of 2 months ago, because everybody here, including Dr. Martin, had stated that you will look into it. But I've never been invited to a meeting, and a lot of parents of special ed kids from that meeting and last month, we have no notification of any group, any advisory meeting. I was here last school year when Dr. Martin did put on a thing, and it was actually a college student that needed to do that for her degree, putting on the special ed and everything. I was here. That was the one and only time I was notified of any special ed, reach out, anything.
Ms. Mildo, I know you did update the website. Can we put that on there? Under events?
Actually, I appreciate you bringing that up, Mr. Marks. To your point, and to the residents' point, I did receive a communication from Dr. Martin today regarding this. And the topic of an announcement to all parents was kind of pressed, and that will be forthcoming. I don't have that flyer or that announcement here
Okay.
tonight.
How
I
do
thought
these
it'd be
announcements
better.
come out? For all of special needs services, who to reach out to, where can we go to if we have grievances? I know we have like the prize and stuff and the free and appropriate education and rights law. We have those avenues, but for the district specifically in the events and the meetings and stuff that you guys are supposed to notify parents of, how, is it email? Is it letters? Is it flyers? How does the district notify special education or special needs parents of these events?
Well, if I were doing it, and I would recommend this to Dr. Martin on this particular communication, I would first send a text out to parents letting them know that they're going to receive an email. And with that email that would have more detail than we can put into a text, would be an attached flyer. That's how I would do it. That's what I'm going to speak to Dr. Martin. She's just away from the district.
Mhm.
And so when she comes back, this is going to be something that obviously we will place a priority on.
Please,
Thank you, Mr.
because
Sullivan.
a lot of parents, the lack of information on how to do things, how to approach things and where to go is much to be desired. It really is.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
Ms. Herkey.
hoping that the new people coming in, that's one of the things that they help fix.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
That wasn't really a topic that I wanted to speak on, but CPEG, I have had 2 children with IEPs in this district, and they went through preschool through 8th grade, and now they are in high school. CPEG is not what our district offers. CPEG is a parent-driven group, and it's mandated by the state. It can consist of parents on this committee, group, whatever you want to call it. They call it a group. It consists of a parent or several parents, a board member, if a board member would like to be on it. It can consist of children who have had IEPs and moved on, like my older grandsons are. It's a group of everyone, including Dr. Martin or any administrator, you know, from her office. So it's a group. Dr. Martin holds every year what is supposed to be an SRO generated from the county. And it's more of a seminar where she sends out letters and she invites parents of special needs children to come. So when they're asking these questions that I heard last month and this month, they are not one and the same function. Now, maybe over the years, the county has come out with allowing that program to suffice as this group. I don't know, but there isn't anything written anywhere that substantiates that. There may be, but nothing that can be found, you know, in research online. So I know what CPEG is, and we seem to be a little bit, I don't know, confused as to what the two things are, but they are not the same thing. Yes, that's a great program. I know she sends it out. I know that all parents are invited and don't come or don't hear about it for whatever their reason is that they didn't hear about it. And she's even tried to entice people to come to it. So I'm not against that. I'm just saying that more research maybe can be done to see that whether they really are the same program today, but they weren't. And that wasn't really what I wanted to ask for my question, but that's just my advice, having had 2 kids. What I wanted to ask about was what I saw on the bill list last month, and I didn't bring it up under agenda because it's last month and this month, where we paid Brett DeNovi, and it says for aid services, $552,926 in 2 months. And my only question on that is, how many of his people do we employ or take in? I don't know what you call, you know, I don't know if they're really employees, but how many of these actual aides in the service do we have? Does anybody know?
Can you answer that with Dr. Martin here?
I cannot answer that. I will tell you, they are not employees of the district. They are paid services. but I can,
I understand
Yeah.
that they're not employees. I was just wondering how many.
I don't know the answer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fritz. Ms. Quinn.
Denise Coyne, I just would like to seek some clarification on what Terry brought up. From what I heard, we pay $100,000 for solar panels, correct? A year
I mean, that's the estimate, maybe a little bit more, but around that.
for 15 years. Is that for all schools or just this school?
Oh, no, it's not just this school, it's
All schools?
most schools, yeah. all the schools.
Okay. And our electric bill has tripled.
Yeah, well, the price of electric has gone up and it's gonna go up again because we just got notified. So yes,
And we don't know how much our solar panels are saving us.
I told her I didn't know at the moment, but I will find that out.
Ms. Quinn, can you ask all your questions at one time so then Mr. McCauley can answer them instead of a Q&A going back and forth, please?
Well, his answers dictates my next
Thank you.
question. My last question, which I just forgot, give me a second. And we're also not sure if they're all working.
Know where that came from.
Well,
She said hers aren't working, but ours are working.
well, I mean, if our electric bills have tripled and we're paying $100,000 a year for solar panels, and our solar panels are supposed to be saving us on electric power, I think it would be prudent to make sure that they all are functioning.
Yeah, there's a company that comes out every 6 months to make sure they're working.
But
Nobody said they weren't working.
I understand that, but you don't know that they are, is
Well,
my point.
I mean, I'm not qualified to go out there, but isn't that a reason we have someone look at them?
Yeah, but every 6 months may not be enough.
Well, I mean, that was what was included. I'm sure we could pay for it and have people come out and look, but
All right, so I do understand correctly. Every 6 months, they come out and check and make sure they're working.
yes,
So we could have one that goes out when they leave and it's not functioning for 6 months.
that would be true.
Mr.
Okay.
McCauley, I have one question on that. If they do have a panel that just happens to be bad, do they give you notification that they replaced that or no?
I mean, I don't get it. Maybe Sonny gets it. I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, it seems to me, if I had solar panels on my roof, like Terry said, and one of them stopped working, you would notice it in your bill. But if we don't even know how the solar panels are saving us money, how would anybody even know that 10 of them aren't even working? I guess is my
Yeah,
point.
that's probably a good point, but I would assume that that's part of the contract that they're monitoring that. I mean, that's,
Who monitors it? We don't,
they're probably monitoring it for us, the company that comes out,
the company that we're paying the $100,000 to.
part of their service, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McCauley, can you get with Mr. Umar and see if he's ever got any type of documents of faulty?
Yes, this is a very hot topic. I'll make sure I get involved in that.
Thank you. Any others? Mr. Leo?
All right, getting back to what I was saying, Dorothy Hope DeLeo. This is a letter from Mr. Bilodeau dated October 7th. Just hold tight. It's telling me that my medical benefits will be terminated on November 30th. Okay? My health benefits. Now, I want to ask the board, are my health benefits going to terminate on November 30th?
Man, we can't discuss personnel matters out here. We cannot answer those questions publicly. The
I have no
information's-
problem with anybody saying anything that pertains to
That
me.
doesn't matter. We do not
Okay,
have the ability to
well,
do
I
that.
need to know, because even though I have 37 years in, I have 24 years, 7 months contracted. I realize you need 25. Now, I haven't been told that I can buy the 7 months back. I need to know, because I have to have medical benefits after November 30th.
The last sentence of that letter indicates that if you have any questions or comments, contact Mr. Bilodeau's office. We cannot
Mr.
discuss that.
Bilodeau's office
That's correct.
is useless. It's
That's-
useless. Please don't smile, Dan. I know you. Please don't.
I didn't
I
smile.
mean, and you too. You're pathetic. but-
We don't, Mr. Bilodeau, we don't name, we
We're
don't,
gonna
not
get
name call.
insulting.
Well, these are important things that pertain to me, and I don't need people to have grins on their faces. That's
Nobody's-
not right.
Nobody's grinning. You're reading into that.
Getting back to policy number 4161. All right, this is support staff. It's 3 pages, examination for cost. This was enacted a month after I got out of the hospital. I got out of the hospital November 2023. The date of this is December 2023. And I had asked when I was here at the microphone previously, how come this policy wasn't in effect years ago?
It was.
Well,
It
how
gets
come?
updated from time to time as the law constantly evolves. As Mr. Bilodeau explained, we have a third-party vendor, Strauss Esme, which sends policy updates to the policy committee, who enacts them with the Board of Education. Correlation does not equal causation.
I would like a copy of the previous policy. I would like a copy of that. I want to see how it was updated because it's so coincidental that this policy was enacted a month after I came out of the hospital. It was a reason to get rid of me. I understand. The day I came back to Union Valley was the first week in March. I had 103 sick days. I didn't even use my 103 sick days. But when I came back the first day, the harassment started, the hostile work environment. I documented so much. And then it's supposed to be that that people weren't able to work with me. I came back, 3 20-year-olds were in there in the library, and a 75-year-old woman was in there working Tuesdays and Wednesdays. She could barely walk. I don't know whose mother-in-law, grandmother she was, but these 3 young kids, all they did was stand around on their phones. I documented everything. You know, they just had to set me up, and that's exactly what they did. I know what you did. You were good at it, or so you thought. And Mercado called me into the.
Mr. Leo, I'm
Mercado
gonna
called me
see if
into
anybody
the.
else has to speak, and I'm gonna bring you back up. Your 3 minutes is up.
I'm sorry?
Your 3 minutes is up. I'm gonna see if anybody else wants to speak, and I'll bring you back up.
Of course it is.
Thank you. Any other comments, please? Mr. Leo, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good.
Nobody else is,
Nobody else wants to speak?
you don't have to start the 3.
3 weeks after I came back from sick leave,
What's the
Mr. Mercado called me into the conference room at Union Valley, along with Tracy Elwell, Kim Curry, the assistant principal, and Gina Rodriguez, the union rep. And, you know, Mr. Mercado wanted me to fill out 4 or 5 pages of.
You've told, Mrs. Leo, you've told us this story on at least 3 separate occasions.
Oh, it bears repeating because I'm the one unemployed now. Nobody else is unemployed. I am. And everything needs to be heard because if it's done to me, was it done previously, will be done in the future to others, it has to be out, Dan. It has to be out. So I was called in the conference room and for a meeting 3 weeks after I came back, and the setup began. It all began. They wanted 4 or 5 pieces of paper filled out by me by the end of the day. And Tracy Elwell brought those papers into the library. I'm working in the back of the library. She brought them into the library and she said, I need these returned to me by the end of the day. And she said, I had no part in this. And I already knew what was going on. I knew what was going on from the day I came back. You know, when this goes into court, and I'm sure it will,
Certainly your prerogative.
what?
That's certainly your prerogative to bring it into court, but
Well,
we can't talk
it's
about it
gotta
here.
go where it has to go because you can sit there and you know what you did. I don't know how you go home. I don't know how you live like this. I really don't. You know, I'm a 37-year employee and you know, I never ever, you look at my record, I never had a problem. You and Mercado came on board, and let me tell you, I don't know one person out of 950 employees that like him. And I really can't say I know anybody that likes you. Feel like I need something to drink. One moment. You may want to get me out of here. I'm a taxpayer in Gloucester Township. I own that huge piece of property behind Union Valley. He pulled me, Mr. Bilodeau pulled me into a meeting down the township, and he told me it was he, and I'm sitting across from him. Next to him is his secretary. I don't know why she was there. And next to me was Gina Rodriguez. He looked at me and said, "You were not to go in Union Valley. You were not to go in the parking lot of Union Valley." And I said to you, I own the property behind Union Valley. Am I allowed in the woods? 15.81 acres belongs to me. I paid $23,000 a year taxes on that property. How dare you talk to me like that? You're the superintendent. You have yourself up here, Mercado's got himself up here. Everybody else is down here. And all you want to do is ramp on us. Makes you feel good when you go home at night, doesn't
That's,
it?
Stoyano. If you want to make a point about your employment. Please stop attacking Mr. Bilodeau and Mr. Mercado. If you want to make your point, make your point.
Sorry, I gotta do it.
25.
Please let me know when we're at those, Max.
I think we all know what the point is. I mean, if I don't make a point, how many more employees in back of me is this going to happen to? 37 years. I was only going to stay at the most 2 more years. You forced my hand. You backed me into a corner and I came out fighting. Now, I believe you are in a corner. Don't think you're getting out of this one. I didn't deserve any of this. My record is crystal clean. Crystal clean. This policy 4161 that was made, that was adopted, it says adopted December 2023. Examination for cause. We all know what that means. Right then and there, a month after I came out of the hospital. Oh, we gotta do something. We gotta make sure she doesn't come back to work. Of course I came back to work. I know what my job is and I do it extremely well. I had 103 sick days saved. I didn't even use them all. I came back to work and the harassment started. It started and they poured it on thick. At least 10 of them in that building. Starts from the office, Tracy Elwell, the librarian, Joanne Lucier. Did I deserve to be treated like that? You're the superintendent. You signed all these papers. Did I deserve to be treated like that? After 37 years of faithful and loyal service, did I deserve to be treated like that? How much do you know me? I'm asking you a question. How much do you know me?
He cannot answer the question. We cannot discuss personnel.
That's all I am. It's Mike Bahanka, my track record. Ask any of them. I'm a damn hard worker and I'm a loyal worker. You come on board, Mercado comes on board, we're going to get, 37 years, we got to get rid of her. Oh, she got sick. Perfect opportunity. Nobody's going to talk highly of you. Nobody. How do you do this to your employees?
Mrs. Vallejo,
How do you?
this is not the time to tee off on the superintendent. If you want to make your comments and express your concern, that's fine. We don't name call. We don't do any of that. I understand you're aggrieved. You have the right to feel the way you want to feel, but you can't sit there and berate him to his face like that. It's just not going to happen.
What can I do?
What you've done the last 6 months, you've made your comments. You are allowed to comment. We can regulate what the comments are, especially when it comes to personal accounts. You've come to every meeting in the last 6 months, as is your right, and you've expressed your concerns. We cannot discuss anything personnel-wise out here. We've made that clear to you the whole time. If you want to take this wherever you want to go, that is your right as well.
Oh, that's my right.
It is your right.
It's okay for him to send me belittling letters. I have a stack of them at home. I have a stack of them. You know, it was like every week going to my mailbox and taking more out. You know what you were doing. That's harassment in itself. You know me. You know me. I'm not like this. I'm a damn hard worker. You're pathetic.
That's enough, Mrs. DeLeo. Move on, please.
All right, we're gonna close the public comments, move on to board member comments.
I'd just like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and thanks for coming out.
Any others?
I just want to say congratulations to the Safety Patrol, the NJSH officers. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving and get home safe.
Any others?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the STAR students. It's always great to see the kids come out. I did want to also, I guess, get to the bottom of what this group is that people keep asking about and what the differences are, so that we can put that to bed. I'm, hearing both different sides and kind of makes sense. I mean,
Oh, confusing, right?
it's, Dr. Martin did explain that, like, she put it out there for people to come and join. You can't force people to join. Maybe at that point in time, there wasn't interest in it from the public, and maybe now there is, so maybe now something can start. So hopefully that can, help put this to bed here. Other than that, yeah, hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming out.
You too, Mr. Gibbon.
Any others? I'd like to wish everybody a happy holidays and thank you for coming out. Good night, everybody. May I have a motion to adjourn, please? All in favor? Aye, good night, everyone.